So, when I said we were going to come back for a league game at some point, mid-December before we get onto the FA Cup? Well, I got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is that I did maybe get a little bit carried away. But the good news is the FA Cup third round. Fleetwood Town are coming to DanSkorne Park. But as an apology, we are going to do a league game afterwards, just to, try and keep this balance, because I realise that once the FA Cup comes around, we do tend to focus on it a bit too much. But before we get to that, like I said, Fleetwood Town, it's going to be one hell of a match. Let's get into it. So we've got Winston Milton Hodges joining the club. It's basically a result of the affiliate club, well, senior affiliate relationship with Spurs. I'll be honest, looking at him, he's a very weird player. Like, he's best as a midfielder apparently, but he's pretty bad at passing, no vision. But then at the same time, he's got 13 first touch, 15 finishing, good technique, determination, flair, leadership, teamwork, aggression. Like, he's a bit all over the place, but we're paying him absolutely nothing, and we're just going to stick him in the squad. It's just basically another name to have on the team sheet. We've been struggling a little bit with midfielders. I've been looking at someone to bring in, and this sort of feels like the safest option. If we find someone brilliant, I might also go for them, but we'll see how Winston here gets on first. One little bit of crazy news. James Beattie is now a coach at the club. We're paying him quite a bit of money, but he is insane compared to all the rest of our coaches we've got. You're doing a little staff search and you put in your preferred attributes. I think I had these up at like 14 or 13. I was like, well, we'll start there and just work our way down. And I started there, and he was just sat there waiting for me. He initially wanted like 1,000 plus. I think it might have been 1,200 a week. I've had to whack a load of bonuses on there just to try and counteract that. But at the same time, final of an FA Cup, winning the Papa John's Trophy, quarter final of an FA Cup, quarter final, winning the League Cup, winning Sky Bet League 2. Also, funnily enough, he was refusing to join with the top four. And then I put on the fifth one. It was saying with the 5,000 for winning League 2 that was way too much. So I kept lowering it. 325 is the highest it let me go, and that's what tipped him over the edge to join us. Doesn't really make sense, but I'm thrilled that he did. But something good happening in football just so often is followed by something incredibly bad happening. And within an hour of him joining, Ryan Sherwood suffered a tight calf, will be out for 1 to 2 days. Darrell Ombang is going to be out for about a week, 6 to 8 days. Zach Abbott has been taken ill, and Daniel Rigg has been taken ill. Zach Abbott's only going to be out for 2 days with a cold, but Rigg is going to be out for 2 weeks with the flu. So we have just been absolutely battered there. It does probably mean that with James Wright being such a tetchy little arsehole, I might even give that youth goalkeeper Ian Jardine that I signed a start or 2. But we'll see who our opponents are for that, I feel like, before I commit to that decision. And okay, it's time for the FA Cup 4th round draw. Okay, so we've got 39 teams, is that? Yeah. So it's a little bit of an awkward place for me to get to, for me to see while I'm recording. Let's just draw all teams. Oof. We are away at Anfield, potentially. We have now got to get through this game because there is absolutely no way that I can skip doing that match. So that's actually completely changed my plans for today, because I was going to skip over the Fleetwood Town match and just sort of hope I got through and we'd see who we face in the next round, because I realise the last 2 episodes have had a cup game in them. And I really don't want, our first season in league football to be just cup games. But instead, we're going to jump straight into the recap now. And I think we'll do Fleetwood and the league game and whatever our next league match is. I haven't actually checked that at this point, and I don't want to go and check now just because of, spoilers for the recap. Yes, so I think we're going to do the Fleetwood match now in 3 days' time, and then probably just whatever league match is coming next. And I suppose, hey, if it's relevant now, let's just jump straight into the recap and we'll get you caught up on, there's been quite a few games. So yeah, last time you were here, it was Wigan in the second round. And since then, things have gone pretty well. We've only lost once. I mean, we have had a few draws in there. We've had quite a few quite decisive wins as well, like 4-1, 3-1, 3-1. Managed to scrape through against Swindon Town on penalties. It's been a mix. But yes, I think today we're going to do the Fleetwood match and possibly either Morecambe or Oldham. Oldham are in 5th, so that's actually probably a better game for us to do. So I think we're going to do those 2 matches today, and then we'll go forward. And I believe that the cup games are end of January, beginning of Feb. So the next episode will be coming pretty quickly in game time. But I think that sort of works. We might even do a second match in the game against Liverpool as well, just to also try and get a league game in there. But then we have got the MK Dons game in the quarter-final. There's just so much like tension coming into this part of the season. But before we get carried away with, what game we're going to be doing down here, let's just get into the recap. We've got quite a few games to get through. And it all started off with a 4-0 victory over Crawley Town, which I will say is one of the most mental games I've ever seen. Like, I don't understand how half of these goals happened. Like I said, it was a 4-0 victory. Clements got on the score sheet. We had a couple of other unlikely names nearly get on the score sheet, but I'm just going to, I don't even know where to start describing this without actually showing you the goals, because some of this game just made no sense whatsoever. It started off with this had a crazy pass in it. A Lewis free kick comes out, Rig here goes for like a karate kick pass, gets deflected, falls to Cadamartri at the near post, and he puts it in at the near post. Then Sherwood here gets the ball out to Clements. Clements lofts one forward. Goalkeeper comes out to collect. It just sails over his head. That's the most Football Manager-esque goal I've ever seen. Crawley should honestly be sacking that player for that goal. That is honestly the most embarrassing thing I've seen in this year's Football Manager. Then we had O'Neill in the 77th minute, gets the ball back to Clements again. Mitchell with a rocket of a shot gets saved onto the crossbar, and O'Neill puts it in the open net. Pretty much secures the victory in the 77th minute. But then in the 90th minute, we had an insult to injury with another goalkeeping, with another defensive howler. And this time Bain takes it to the left of the keeper and pops it in an essentially open net. It was just a brilliant performance from the team. I mean, we were relatively even for a lot of the first half, as you can see from the XG. It was just sort of that one moment of magic from Rig, who luckily got the ball to Cadamartri. And with the amount of luck involved, it actually probably wasn't that much of a moment of magic now I think about it. But yeah, from that Clements goal, they just fell apart. And it's not really surprising, because in the fashion that we scored, I think I would have fallen apart too. But either way, that secured us passage onto the next round, which is obviously where we're going to be facing Milton Keynes in a few weeks' time. And we followed that up with, honestly, almost, well, I was going to say an equally crazy match. Not quite as crazy of a match, but there was also some very odd goals in this one. Not quite to the standard of the Crawley match, but a 4-1 victory over Halifax. Started off with a penalty in the first minute that just went straight through the keeper, basically. And then we had a nice little ball over the top. O'Neill gets a flick on. Cadamartri's left one-on-one, and he chips the keeper. Nice little composed finish from him. And then the 55th minute, Batty gets the ball forward and brings it to Sherwood, who just sort of hits it straight at the keeper, and it just goes through him and into the net. I don't understand, once again, how that's managed to happen. A little defensive blunder here gave the ball to Rig, and he managed to put O'Neill through and pop it into the right-hand side of the net. 4-0 up after 64 minutes, pretty decisive. They did manage to get one back late on. Sayer reclaims the ball here, gets a nice cross in. Batty just doesn't bother going for it, and McEwen heads it into the top corner for a very nice consolation goal, but a consolation goal nonetheless. Then we followed that up what actually might be one of the hardest fought wins we'll have all season. We beat Preston 2-1 thanks to a last-minute goal from Stephen Bain. Preston are actually favourites to go up, and they're such favourites to go up. They, when someone is so dominant for a league, it shows on the season preview screen that they're 91 to 1 on to go up, essentially. Not even worth putting a pound on that sort of bet. They are that much of a favourite to go up, but they're also languishing down in the bottom half of the table at the moment. So a team that on paper should definitely beat us, but in practice are really kind of struggling. And also, didn't help that this was just after we had a load of injuries and we were playing a heavily rotated side with Wielden up front, Trundle in midfield, and Aliu at left back. I mean, none of this is how we'd wanted this to line up to go. And it was really quite hard to break them down. As you can see from the stats, they were pretty much all over us. But we did get one nice goal. We did get one nice moment just at the start of the second half. And as flick on led to Dunn in a one-on-one position, he puts it past the keeper. They didn't take long to clap back, though, at the 50th minute. A nice ball over. McCaffrey doesn't quite get to the ball, but it comes out to Emmanuel, and he puts it to the back post, and Edwards scores in the bottom left corner. Then in the 93rd minute, when I thought, we've escaped with a draw, and I'm absolutely delighted with that, Dunn gets the ball over the back line, puts it to Stephen Bain, who manages to finish in the left-hand side of the net. Fantastic result. I honestly was over the moon that we managed to pull this one off. I just could not believe we'd managed to nick that victory. And everyone knows in Football Manager, you pull off one amazing result, you manage to beat that massively overpowered team in your league, and then you come up against your one bogey side for the season. They managed to knock us out of the League Cup in the first round, way back at the start of the season, and they beat us again 2-1. To be honest, they definitely deserve this. Both of their goals were pretty good, to be honest. Started off 24th minute, nice ball over, and is it Evans that was? Or Turns, yeah. leaps like a salmon for the managed to header it into the far side. And then this one was a bit of a rocket as well. It comes to Salmon on the edge of the area and it pops it straight in the far top corner. Beautiful finish. We did have one little consolation goal close to the end, trying to get back into the game. 80th minute, Danny Wing bursts forward, pops it into the side of the net for his first goal for the club, actually. So that's quite a momentous occasion. But other than that, not a great day for us. And the scariest thing of all, if this season does go down to the wire, we've got Forest Green Rovers on the last day of the season. So that could either be the most amazing redemption arc of all time, or could just ruin us. Yeah, oh, God. I am not looking forward to that. And just to add to that stress, the next game was up against Sheffield Wednesday, who long-time viewers might remember was actually the first big club that we came up against way back when. Oh, that must have been like 7th or 8th tier still, to be honest, at that point. Like, we were tiny when we played them still. But yeah, this was very much a late smash and grab. We managed to get 2 late goals to come back into the game and nick a point. To be honest, the 2-0 scoreline would have flattered them. I don't think they were quite good enough to just, say they won 2-0. But it does show how far we've come that we managed to nick a draw. They got off to a relatively good start. I was going to say good start. It's 40th minute, but still. Nice little cross and goal from their striker there before they had a nice long ball over. A little bit of defensive mix-up. Hughes really should have gone to that. Gets the ball to Tordoff and he just absolutely rockets it into the far top corner for his second of the match. Then a defensive mix on their side left O'Neill straight through, and the keeper sort of just forgot how to goalkeep, so he just pops it straight past him, no problem at all. And then just 2 minutes later, a long ball from Trundle gets received, a nice little quick succession of passes, puts Wielden through on goal, and managed to secure us a point late on in the match. Absolutely brilliant point from us there. Could have gone horribly wrong, but we never gave up, and that is what was important. A few days after that match, we had a 1-1 draw against Chesterfield, where we scored both goals, actually. An own goal from Sam Batty put us behind early on, but we very quickly snapped back and got a point. Let's just quickly watch those. So yeah, this comes over to their back post. Cox is putting a bit of pressure on. He gets to put a cross in. Batty sticks a leg out and it just ricochets off him into the net. I was very disappointed when that happened, but just 4 minutes later, very good little keep ball here before a long ball over. O'Neill gets the ball, he squares it through to Cadamartri, pop it in the bottom corner, and that was the end of the scoring. It's a pretty quiet second half. I mean, we both, like you can see from the XG, we both had one decent chance, but apart from that, it was a very tense game. And we carried on scoring the goals in a 3-1 victory over Leyton Orient. They were probably the better side in this game overall, and they got off to a very good start in the 4th minute with the ball over to Umara. Gets a great little touch and managed to put it past Ombang in net. We were not down and out for long, but in the 16th minute, a long ball over from Ombang here. Ends up getting flicked on by Stephen Bain. Cadamartri gets through on goal, pops it past the keeper. Very little problem at all. Really demonstrates why those two have been so lethal. Well, Cadamartri and anyone has been lethal this season, realistically. 35th minute, Wing gets the ball. He managed to get it into Bain to header it into the bottom corner himself this time. Before in the 90th minute, at 2-1, we managed to secure the 3 points. Lovely ball over to Bain, gets the ball into O'Neill this time and managed to get all 3 of our strikers on the score sheet and secure the 3 points. Very glad with that performance. Yeah, you can see from the XG, I didn't realise it was quite that bad. Yeah, they were definitely the better side. But again, looking at it, they had a few good chances. They didn't have lots of consistent chances. Does that make sense? Although I suppose you could say the same for us. Our XG didn't jump up from when we scored the goal in the 35th minute all the way until we got the 94th minute winner. And we had another tough game coming up next when, thanks to some Football Manager-ass scheduling, we played Preston North End in the league for the second time in 3 weeks. I don't really understand how that's happened, but at the same time, we played Sheffield Wednesday twice in 3 weeks there as well. I suppose it just happens when you've got all these fixtures in across the league. This was definitely another game that I don't feel like we should have got a draw out of. They were by far the better side this time, which is weird because we were better than them at their ground, but we went behind once again when Tipple managed to put in a rebounded shot from Ombang. But then in the 70th minute, we proved once again we might be down, but we are definitely not out when Dunn finds a lovely ball through to O'Neill, who managed to finish it first time. Past the keeper in net. Who is that? Cruz in net, that was. And yeah, we managed to get away with taking 4 points off the strongest team in the league this season. So absolutely delighted with that. We followed that up with a fantastic performance away at Tranmere. 2-0 victory here. Wielden and Cadamartri nicking the goals. Although I will say, Sam Batty at right back was probably the man of the match. He set up the first goal here, basically. Finds a killer ball through to Cadamartri. Cadamartri unselfishly puts it to Wielden, basically stealing the assist. But obviously I'm not going to complain about that. And then Ombang gets the ball out to Boyang. Batty finds another brilliant ball over to Cadamartri, and this time he takes the goal himself. And a 2-0 victory, 14th minute, that was the last goal, but I cannot complain because we finally kept a clean sheet. It feels like they have really been few and far between this season. I mean, in this whole recap, that is, since the Crawley game, that has been the only clean sheet in these 10 games over December and the 1st of January. So yeah, doesn't happen very often, but that was a very good performance, and we followed that up with not a clean sheet, but another brilliant performance against Stevenage. So this one finished 3-1, but it honestly could have been so many more. We had 2 goals disallowed for incredibly close offsides. We were very dominant throughout. This was one of the few games this season where I'm like, we absolutely destroyed them. This could have easily been like 6 or 7 realistically. Started off Foyo battling for the ball there, gets the cross into Cadamartri, who managed to get a header while he's backpedaling towards it. A beautiful finish from him. And then Hughes gets a killer ball over in the 35th minute to Cadamartri again. This time scores a lot more comfortably, let's say. 46th minute, they managed to get one back at the start of the second half. French and Ole gets the ball across. Oh, yeah, it's a twisting shot from Mella here. I do remember this and being quite annoyed and worried that the tables were turning in this second half. But it was not the case. And in the 89th minute, Turnbull finds a nice ball through to Bain. Bain is lucky to score because that is a terrible shot and it bounces off. Why is it always the weirdest names when I click on them? Van Kooten, who honestly should have really, defended that a bit better. I know he didn't have much time to react, but yeah, either way, it was a brilliant result, incredibly dominant from us, and it's left us looking very good in the league. But we will get to that in a second, because first we've got a penalty win over Swindon Town to get through in the Papa John's Trophy. We played a pretty rotated side. I mean, we don't have enough players to fully rotate the side, but it was actually a game where I could bring in Arias at right back because this is a different competition and it does not need to be registered for it. So I was absolutely delighted to be able to give him a run out. So this is a game that I was quite annoyed went to penalties, to be honest. We burst into an early 2-0 lead and then sort of just gave it away in the second half. So 10th minute, Arias actually did get involved with a great little assist here, puts a nice little looping ball over, and Wilden flicks it on straight over the goalkeeper. He was not ready for that at all. Anang in goal, that was. Before Bain put in a very weird pass here, but Woodyard makes a lovely bit of control, gets the ball to Boyang, rockets it past the keeper. Absolutely unstoppable that was, and we looked very comfortable. But in the 74th minute, a nice little play over here. Monker ends up bursting down the right-hand wing, puts it across, and Talon Shepherd manages to batty it into the net, as Batty did in a very recent game. And then in the 86th minute, McNally, is that McNally or Portnelly scored? Either way, got an equaliser very late on. Oh, we're going through all the penalties, are we? Okay, it was a very reliable penalty shootout from everyone. Arias with a nice little finish there. Nunes scores for them. Why are we changing angles to this angle? No, why are we changing angle to this angle? This is a very odd, automated thing. Carney scores for them. Wielden scores for us. This one was quite a bad penalty. Yeah, the keeper did get to it. And then Aina puts another bad penalty in. Ombang managed to save it. And we don't see so we see all the penalties apart from the winning one. We just quickly watch that to see the celebrate. Oh, not without going through it all again. And I'm not that dedicated. We all know what a winning penalty looks like. We've all seen it a million times. But yeah, that game was a very nice little bit of vengeance after we lost 2-0 to them in the original in the group stage. But at the same time, we played an even more rotated side for that one. And it has set up a game against Milton Keynes in a few weeks' time. I suppose let's have a quick look at the league, where we are doing surprisingly well. We're all the way up in 4th. We are 4 points behind 3rd place. 16 points behind Southend at the top. They've looked absolutely unstoppable all season long. But we have got a game in hand on Swindon, and we have got 3 games in hand on Bristol Rovers. So Swindon, we might struggle to catch them. Bristol Rovers, I think that's very attainable as long as we keep up playing as we are. Obviously, I haven't seen much of the stats this season. Cadamartri has got the highest average rating in the whole league. We don't actually have anyone in the top scorers, though, because we have been very much sharing the goals out between absolutely everyone, which is a brilliant thing. But I also do like having that one man that just scores every single time they get in front of goal. Anyway, let's get on to a game against Fleetwood, and then we're going to have to probably do another game against Oldham, just because I refuse to have 4 episodes in a row be purely cut-based if we get through this, let's say. Although even if we didn't get through this, I'd probably do the MK Dons game, but that's a question for the next episode. Let's just get into this match. And of course, there's another news item just to slow things down a little bit more. Santiago Arias has decided he's going to retire at the end of the season. Very annoying that this has happened, because one of the reasons that he said he was going to retire is that he hasn't been able to break into the team lately. I literally couldn't register him. I don't know what more he wanted. I tried to convince him because I figured once we get into a period where we can actually register him, we're going to be able to convince him that, he's got a place here and he might want to stick on for another year. But that has not been the case. So yeah, that's not ideal. It looks like he's going to be leaving us at the end of the season after we've paid him like a quarter of a season's wages at £525 a week for no reason. So not the best financial decision there from me. We've also got Zach Mitchell going out on loan to Welling United. I mean, he's been very much a sub player for us. I mean, even the staff say he's a Vanarama National League North-South quality player. But it is a little sad. He's been with us for 4 seasons at this point, has been a key part of our push up the league. Even looking at the ratings, he's never really excelled in any season or stood out, but he has always been relatively solid. So it's a little disappointing to see him go. You know, I would have quite happily had him stick around for the rest of the season, but he's been kicking off that he's not really playing, and I don't really have a spot for him. So off you go. Make a part in comment. We'll just send you out on loan, and he's completely happy with that. So it's his last year, isn't it? Yeah, it's his last year contract, so we probably won't actually see him in the squad again. But yeah, thank you for your service, Mitchell, and enjoy your time at Welling. And of course, another news story, Joy. I mean, but this actually is a good one. We've got Darko Giarbi joining the club. I'm going to assume that's how you say his name, Giarbi. £500 a week, so he's not going to be cheap. And weirdly, he has agreed to be a squad player. But to be honest, I mean, despite the star rating only saying, 2.5 stars, so I was thinking maybe he won't quite be good enough for us. I mean, he looks really good. The only things that I'm not, exactly thrilled about, off the ball vision and work rate are not fantastic. But, 10 passing, 10 tackling, he's completely good enough at almost everything. And, if I compare him to, let's say, like Dunn, for instance, that's just a better polygon. In mentals, I mean, Dunn is better, slightly better, let's say. But in every other department, Darko Giarbi has got him beaten. And I mean, they're very similar. Giarbi's got incredible aggression, so he could end up with lots of sendings off. But I definitely think this is a good move for us. And quite attacking, good dribbling, good finishing, good tackling, much more defensive. But that tackling and that aggression, he hasn't got the work rate, but maybe the aggression will make up for that fact. Who knows? He won't chase you down. He'll just slowly walk behind you and then beat the shit out of you. But yeah, Darko Giarbi, welcome to the squad. And finally, it is game day. So we're going to be lining up like this today. I've actually really struggled putting together a combination of team that will actually work, because I got everyone in that I wanted to have in and realised that 5 of my substitutes were central midfielders, which might be a little bit overkill. But yeah, we've got Ombang at the back, Hughes, Aliou, Mulroney and Trundle across defence. I'm a little bit disappointed that Aliou and Mulroney have got this, doesn't work brilliantly together line between them. But hopefully that won't impact us too much. I have tried switching their roles to see if that might make any difference, but it doesn't seem to be the case. We've got Foyo defensive midfielder, Boyang and Sherwood in the Mazzala roles. Wing stepping in for Rig, because Rig has honestly not had a fantastic last couple of games. He's in the oranges. He's not really stood out in any of them. We might have to bring him on later if need be. And then we've got O'Neill and Kadamatri up front. Hopefully this will be enough. I mean, it's a very scary game. I was very tempted to drop into our more, defensive 4-1-3-2. But I think we're just going to have to take the game to them. We've done this against League One sides and it's worked out well. So I'm just hoping we can pull it off against the League 2 side as well. Squad name will have to be given to Darko Giarbi, as we know. And okay, right. This is probably not going to be an easy game. We've got to try and get the players. We're on a good run, so let's keep that going. No one seems overly motivated, but that's not terrible. Midfield and attacker, loving it. Defence, not looking great. We're just going to have to outscore them, I suppose. So, okay, we're lining up in our standard 4-3-1-2. And Fleetwood Town are lining up in a very classic 4-4-2. Is there anyone here that I know? Lavery, I know the name of at least. Shane Lavery, do I know that? Oh, was going straight into a kickoff highlight. This could be insane, or it could drive me insane. It's 1-2, and it looks good. O'Neill's been put through on goal. It's through on goal. Oh no, he nearly scored in the 14th second, I think that was. Could you imagine if we'd scored that? That would have been an absolutely incredible start to the match. But now we've got a Hughes corner. It's put in. Fagan managed to get it away. Okay, let's have a quick look down there. Team now. Aaron Ramsey. That is not Aaron Ramsey, is it? Oh no, that's Aaron Ramsey from Villa, which honestly might be worse for us. He is incredible. Oh my God. He's like, I'm a Birmingham City fan, as I've mentioned many times. So I'm not a big fan of Villa. But I will say he is one of like the brightest young talents in the country, I feel like. And that's a little bit scary that he's on the other side. But hopefully all of my unknown 17 and 18-year-olds will be able to handle him. Sherwood's looking to put through O'Neill there. We've started this game very well, but O'Neill cannot finish his bloody dinner at this point. That's twice he's had very good chances and he's managed to spur both of them. We've got only a 1 XG 7 minutes into the game from 2 chances. He definitely should have had at least one of those goals. Aliou with a long ball over, trying to go for another one. Wing this time getting it to Sherwood, going out wide, gets it to Trundle. I thought he lost the ball there, but he lost the ball slightly further forward instead. Now Pierce is looking to come down. Fagan gets a long ball over towards Bowler. Hughes cuts it out. Bojan gets it over, trying to look for O'Neill yet again. And now Lavery gets the ball to Fagan, and they're on a break down this left-hand side. Not going to be able to shoot, or he shouldn't be able to shoot. But either way, the cross deflects, and Onbank collects it comfortably. 3,370 people here today again. Michael Oliver in charge. We've got a proper referee. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who've got something against Michael Oliver because every club hates one referee. But in my books, he's a proper referee at least. I'm paying more attention to who they've got on their squad just out of curiosity than anything else. It's very rare that I come up against a player that I've actually heard of at this point, so it's always exciting. They've got a throw in now. 30th minute this is. Pierce with a long ball over towards Burstow. Not sure what he was trying there. He just sort of heads it straight into Onbank's arms. Onbank could be looking for one of our classic long balls here. He is. O'Neill does collect it. And goes for the... Oh, that was... Weirdly enough, that was his hardest chance so far and the closest he's come to scoring. That was such a weirdly good little volley. We've had 2 on target of our 7 shots. 3 of them have come from O'Neill, and that's pretty much all the highlights we've had. Managed to get their cross away there. Cadamarchi got it away. I didn't actually see the name, apart from on the bottom. Ball comes to Burstow. There's no way they score from this. And it was honestly very close, and I was a little bit scared. They're still having a shot on target, though. I don't want to jinx it. Ooh, we're going into injury time, and it is half-time, and we're 0-0, and have been by far the better side. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, I definitely feel like this could be a prime, FMing, but we'll have to see. And no, that Believe logo hasn't always been there. I mentioned that in a previous episode, and then completely forgot to check for it every single time we've been in the dressing room. I mean, if anything, we need it for this game. You're doing well. Keep working till half-time. Everyone is over the moon. That's a crazy, morale reaction for everyone to go so happy. Normally that only happens when you say, that was a fantastic win at the end of the match. But for that to be happening at half-time, the players have obviously, they're obviously desperate to win this game. And I'm scared to say it, but it has been a pretty quiet start to this second half. Is that going to work? No, it doesn't. Okay, we've got another 10 minutes without a highlight. I might look to make a sub, although I don't think anyone's really been playing badly at this point. The only person that's been playing bad, I'm bringing Bain on for O'Neill because he's been absolutely amazing as far as getting into the positions go, and has done absolutely nothing as far as converting them goes. We're going to mess with the midfield a bit. Wing has been playing very good, so I'm going to bring him back into the Mazzala role and take Boyang off for Rig, give him his Ingont role back. Hopefully he can impress from that position. We have only got 3 subs in this competition, remember that, so I'm going to stop there with just the 2 subs made and see if that makes any difference to the last 15 minutes of this match. Okay, it's a highlight with exactly 15 minutes left. Sherwood picks the ball up, gets it to Mulroney. Doesn't give it away stupidly. Gives it away with a pass attempt, but still, Hughes manages to win it back. Wing now gets the ball back to Aliou. Ball gets lofted over. This is prime mistake territory. Cadamarchi with a brilliant finish out of nowhere. The players were just standing around watching the ball. Who's that there? Sherwood, no, Bain bows in honour of Cadamarchi's fantastic finish. That was insane. Look, none of the players here looked like they were doing anything, and it just falls to Cadamarchi and unleashes a rocket into that bottom left corner. What a finish. What a guy. Oh, is this an offside check? I mean, it wasn't... That's overlappingly close. That's a strange way of phrasing that, but oh my God. We might have gotten away with that there. If we get quite late into this, I might drop our formation to a 4-1-3-2 because they're playing 4 up front at this point. Their front 4 haven't been brilliant. But that was given away there. Burke headers it away. Now Palmer is on the counter-attack. Lavery gets the ball. As long as you're not giving it to the guy that's offside. He didn't. That happened 10 seconds ago by the time I finished my sentence. Lancashire gets it in. Onbank. What? That goes for a corner. I thought that was a penalty. Oh my God. I had a little heart attack. I don't know what happened there because there was players blocking it. But they didn't score. And that's what's most important. We're actually in the 87th minute. I didn't realise we'd got that far. Let's drop it back to balanced. We'll drop it back formationally. Foyer can play defensive midfield. We've still got our 2 Mazzalas on, although, yeah. This is kind of the most we can do at this point, I think. You know, you can go into... You can't really do anything, to be honest. A defensive ball with a midfielder. Can any of these play defensive roles? Oh, you could do box-to-box. So we'll leave Sherwood as a Mazzala. Rig, we'll just put you as a supporting advanced playmaker. I'm tempted to switch you to deep lying, but we've only got 3 minutes to get through. And this would actually be the biggest scalp we've managed to claim. Oh no, 92nd minute. Lavery gets the ball. It gets boomed in. No! Will Lancashire in the most scrappiest of fashions. How did the ball get through to him there? Oh, that's so heartbreaking. My changes didn't even happen yet. That's so depressing that that's just happened in that way. Have we now got a replay? It's full time. Oh, how have we drawn that game? It was all us the whole time. And as soon as I try and make changes to secure a victory, things go horribly wrong. Oh, despite the result, we'll be successful if we keep that sort of performance up, and I agree. Oh, that's so depressing. Oh, God, I don't even want to carry on with this episode. People could do with a rest. When's our next match? The Morecambe match has been rescheduled because we've got this match again in 3 days' time. And, oh, God, Foyo's banned as well. That's just fantastic. And I know that I said we were going to do a league match, but we can't not do this. We can't not do the replay after that game. And I really wanted to do a league match, and I apologise for all of those that were looking for a league match. Fleetwood Stadium is only 5,000. I always have to come and check this. Oh, God, that is... I'm so depressed that that's just happened that way. Fuck. All right, well, I'm going to go forward 3 days, I suppose, and let's do it all again. Oh, man. So before we do get to that second game, Lloyd Jones is going to be going on loan to Eastleigh. I mean, he hasn't really been playing this season. I thought I'd bring him in case we were going to switch up tactics, but we've just ended up going with 2 different tactics that both go through the middle instead. I obviously would like to keep him around, but a bit of first-team football out at Eastleigh in the conference is not going to be a bad little time for him, I don't think. I'm loaning you out because you're going to get far more first-team football somewhere else. Okay, that makes sense. He's still happy. That's all right. I don't want to compile match reports. That will cost money. Okay, so it's time for this second game. I'm going to be lining up with Ombang in goal, Hughes, Trundle, Abbott and Arias across the back this time. Completely different looking back four, despite, other than, I think Trundle played in the last game but was at right back, but we've still got Hughes at left back. We've got Turnbull stepping into the defensive mid position with Foyo out suspended from that yellow card in the last game. Boyang and Wing taking up the Zala spots. Rig playing just in front with Cadamartri and Bain starting up front this time. O'Neill will probably make an appearance at some point, but I just couldn't, with how we started the last game, I just couldn't justify him actually being, one of our main striking hopes in this game. Apart from that, a couple of other notable exceptions. I mean, Dunn is probably going to feel a bit hard done by not being in the squad, but I wanted to put Giarbi and Winston Hodges on here just in case. Giarbi is technically better than him, and Winston Hodges, while he's not actually very good, I don't feel like, he can play a number of positions. I actually mean to click on this button all the time. I feel like this is such a useful pop-up to have and I just never use it. But we're getting off topic here. But he can play a nice range of positions. He can cover a lot of areas. So I think he's just going to be quite useful to have in there as an option. But yeah, I think we're going to go with this. And without further ado, I'm so much more nervous for this game. I went into the last one with so little expectations, just hoping we might fluke a result, and we absolutely destroyed them. And I just feel like that's setting us up for they're now not going to underestimate us, and we're not going to be able to keep up at all this time around. But yeah, we're doing well. We're on a good run. People don't seem thrilled. Attrition made a difference, and we'll do it for the defenders this time because they didn't react too well to the first bit. Just Cadamartri and Arias, they're not super buzzing players. Fleetwood Town are in their 4-4-2. I'm going to skip this because we're in our 4-3-1-2, and we all know how that looks. 3,766 people. Is that 4 people less than we had at our ground? Is that the first time we've ever had the higher attendance in a return leg? Oh, Cadamartri. Oh, Cadamartri, 3rd minute, 4th minute. He just head us over. That was a very weird angle to see that from, but it was a very good chance early on again. Not quite as insane as the 13-second chance we had in the last game. There's a lot of space in those areas they've just got broken into there. Fagan's running into a sea of players there though. Pierce puts the ball down the line to him again. see that coming. He looks to get a cross in. This isn't looking good. Oh, and Burstow just about managed to sneak it in off the near post. That's depressing. That could have gone. That really, I feel like, should have been saved. But, Onbank's travelling across his net. You can see how it's happened. You do see those kind of goals go in quite a lot. Burstow gets a head on it there. Oh, Onbank just needed to reach that tiny little bit more and he would have made the save. Oh, let's pause that. I don't want to listen to their fans. After this game, I'm going to turn game sounds off. Or at least down to the absolute minimum, because they don't really add that much. They just annoy me and I have to edit around them when I'm editing the episodes down. Right, now Abbott gets the ball away. Riggs looking to close Ramsey down, but it gets it back out to Bowler. The ball comes in again. Burster with a second header, but this time it goes wide of the far post. God, they are like the highlights coming thick and fast. I was about to throw a shout out there, but I need to wait and see what happens here first. They're definitely starting a lot better, but they've lost the ball here to Rigg. Now he gets the ball to Cadamartri. Can he put Wing through? Wing's through on goal. Oh, and it gets saved. It goes out for a corner. It was a great one-handed save from their keeper. I don't actually know what his name is. Let's quickly... Oh, he's off the screen now. Brilliant. We've changed angle for a Hughes corner kick, and it gets headed away. Sarkic, they've got in goal, of course. Oh, Rigg collects the ball, but the highlight ends. Okay, I'm going to drop a quick encourage. I mean, the players are generally pretty happy, but yeah, they're all buzzing now. But it was just Fleetwood got off to a very good start there, and I just wanted to make sure the players know, they've still got a chance to stay out. It's 1-0. It's not the end of the world as it stands, but it is a little scary because they are, by far the better side. Hughes getting the ball inside to Wing. Wing ball over, falls to Bain. Bain's got around the keeper, and he's managed to make it 1-1. That's why we encourage our players. Stephen Bain equals it up at... This was Highbury, wasn't it? I only noticed that because obviously Highbury is a much more famous stand than the Fleetwood Town one. But beautiful pass over there from Wing. Well taken from Bain. Composure to take it around the goalkeeper. I really did think that Pierce was going to slide in and, send it out for a corner there. Okay, game on. Our entire team was on okay ratings apart from the front two. But Wing has also stepped up as well. I mean, looking at the ratings, their team is definitely having a much better overall performance than us. We've got Wing and Bain that have stood out. But yeah, that's actually half-time. I didn't see we were that close. That last 12 minutes, though, flew by. I felt like it took about 6 seconds. That was crazy. And actually, from the XG, we are the better side. I didn't realise that. But that might just be because we've had a couple of very good chances. And we've only scored one of them, whereas they've scored from a bit of a half chance, I suppose. I'm pleased with the number of shots we've taken. Everyone seems buzzing. Okay. Oh. Can I start to believe yet? I'm not believing, but I am quietly optimistic. That sort of means believing, I suppose. I should just shut up. So we've got a few players that are looking very tired. We've got Hughes throwing deep inside their half. Cadamartri looking to get a cross in, but Tom takes the ball off him, but gets it out to Pierce to come down this left-hand side. It looks like it's going to be passed out to... No, not to the winger. Trundle collects that and puts in a long ball up himself. Let's get that cursor off the screen because the ball bounced off it. Cadamartri dispossessed the defender. Oh, and he doesn't manage to secure the finish. That's another great save from Sarkic in net. Goes out for another corner. He has definitely kept them in this game because we've been looking pretty dangerous, and the corner does not beat the first man. Rigg gets the ball out to Hughes again, and as he crosses it in, the highlight ends. It's a little bit annoying when that happens because you can see something's about to try and happen. Just end it after the ball gets headed out if it's not, if it's not going to be worth looking at. Pierce gets the ball to Lavery. The ball gets put in Lancashire. Oh my God, he headers it towards the far post and nearly puts it in the top corner. All right, I'm starting to panic a little bit because we've got some very tired players. They've just made a load of substitutions. So I think I'm going to bring Hughes off for Aaron Lewis, which I don't want to bring Hughes off at all, but he's dead on his feet. I can't not bring him off. Cadamartri has had a middling game, so I'm going to bring O'Neill on. We're just cycling through both of our defensive partnerships at any opportunity we get at the moment. Wing is on a 7.4, so I am going to keep playing him despite the fact that he's quite tired, probably for another 10 minutes or so, and then I might look to bring someone on to replace him. But with that sort of performance, I don't want to take him off for no reason and use up our last sub because that Abbott at the back post. Rigg. Oh, when he hits the bar and it goes over. Daniel Rigg nearly secured that for us. Oh, God, man, this is so tense. Lewis with the ball over towards Abbott. what is nothing happens there, but Abbott managed to reclaim the ball and he gives it away. Pearce is now looking to break for Fleetwood. We need to close him down. He's just running a riot there. Murray's long ball over. Gets the ball back to Pearce again. Ball gets chipped over. Oh, Arias nearly cut it out. Oh, okay, that was a terrible shot, thank God. That was 3-on-1. That could have gone terribly. I mean, 3-on-2 if you include the goalkeeper, but still. Right, okay, yeah, Wing is dead on his feet. Let's give Garby a run out. Apart from that, we haven't got any more subs. That was our last one. I'm going to stick with our formation. We've still got the highest XG. We've had the most chances created. We're a little bit down on possession, but apart from that, I think we're kind of good here. They broke our hearts in injury time in the last game, and I can really see it happening again. Rig plays it safe and hits the ball back to Ombang. There's a long ball over. O'Neill's run on the end of it. Oh, and he was through, I feel like then, but Rig gets the ball back to O'Neill. He gets it to Bain. And it's over the goalkeeper. Was that onside? Please tell me that was onside. Please tell me that was onside. It was onside. Come on. Yes. That's 89th minute. We've beat them at their own game. That went straight over the player. That went straight over the defender there. Stephen Bain O'Neill headers it back when he could have just ran through on net. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe we've just done it in that fashion. But well, potentially. They scored in the last injury time. 93rd minute, I've pushed back to balance, and we've won. We've managed to set up a day at Anfield. Fucking hell. I cannot believe we've just managed to do that in that way. That's 2 games against Championship opposition where we have been by far the better side, but we're not by far in that second game because they were actually very good in that game. But in that first game, we absolutely dominated them, and then we've just beaten them on their own pitch in the replay. Oh, I am so glad. I was so tempted after we got that replay, and I'd already said I'm going to do a league game in this. Oh, that was Garby's debut. That's crazy. Yeah, I was so tempted after I'd already said we'd do a league game that I'd just go through this off camera, and I'm so glad I didn't because that was a crazy match and a crazy result. Oh, we've now got 4 games in hand on Bristol Rovers. Did they just lose? Yep, they just lost to Swindon. Okay, that makes sense. That third spot is definitely up for grabs. I mean, us and Notts County have both got 4 games in hand on them and 3 games in hand on all the teams around us. So us 2 could definitely push for this. It could be a double... Imagine that, a double promotion for both the sides that went up last season as well, Notts County and us. Oh my God, and where is the news story that I want to see? We win in the 4th round. We get given 107,000. Look at that money, but that's not what we were looking for. Chelmsford Town are going to be playing Liverpool at Anfield. Oh, God, I know I really hate that I'm doing so many cup games in a row here, but we can't not do Liverpool, can we? We are definitely going to start off the next episode with the Liverpool game. We might do a second one after that, depending on how it goes. If I'm feeling good, we'll do another one. If I'm not feeling good, then we might not, but we'll see. We've got Liverpool. Who have we got in the league coming after that? Oh, we've got Swindon in second. Okay, yeah. That actually might be a chance for us to really secure, because we've got 3 games before then. And if we win those, we'll be on like 57 points. We're probably not going to win all of them, so let's budget for like 54. Yeah, we could be in a very good spot by that point. We've got Swindon and then we've got Notts County, who are the team in almost the exact same position as us. So, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This episode has already probably been too long. I don't know how long I've been recording for at this point, but I couldn't not do that second game, and I'm so delighted that I did. I'm genuinely over the moon right now. So I'm going to do through these next 3 matches, and then we're going to start off the next episode with a huge tie against Liverpool at Anfield. I mean, there's every chance we're going to get absolutely embarrassed. How are Liverpool doing? They're 4th in the Premier League, slightly above our, affiliate club Spurs. It's bank balance minus 65 million, and they're in a 1.5. They're in 100 million of debt. I thought it was 1.5 billion in debt. Jurgen Klopp is still there. Declan Rice is their vice captain. Musiala is their key player. Oh, God, have they still got Reina in the starting squad? They have. No, yes, they have, but they've also just got Salah. Salah's got to be 36 at this point. By the time we get to the Premier, he might be old enough for us to have him off Liverpool. Rice, oh, God. You know what? I'm not going to keep looking at this because this is just going to get me depressed. We are going to end the episode there and just be prepared for this next absolute belter. I never say this first in the outro, but make sure you subscribe. because you do not want to miss this next episode. I'm going to call it now that this is now the biggest game that we've ever had. And I'm sure that there's not going to be any Man United fans that have got any problem at all with me saying that Liverpool are a bigger club than Man United. No, that can't possibly come back to bite me. And I probably shouldn't go in straight into this bit straight after I've just said that. But if you've enjoyed today's episode, maybe give it a like or a comment. Let me know what you thought of that match that just happened, because that was absolutely insane. And obviously, I'd love to hear your predictions on how we're going to do against Liverpool. I mean, I'll give you a hint. We're probably going to lose, but you can always guess score lines, top scorers. Maybe guess the odds on what we'll be given to win, because I think it's going to be at least 20-1. Oh God! Either way, I'm going to end this here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.